Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. You know how this works.
Right.
You give us the sources, we dig in,
Yeah.
and we all learn something new and interesting. This time, we're going to be diving into dreams.
Oh, wow.
That mysterious world we all visit
Every night?
every night, but that we forget.
Almost all of.
Almost all of.
Right.
We're going to be looking at all kinds of different types of dreams, what causes them, common themes, who might experience them.
Yeah.
And I think we'll both find this fascinating.
I think so.
I already am,
Yeah, me too.
just from the little bit of research that we've done.
Yeah, just looking at the sources, it's really interesting stuff.
Yeah. So did you know we dream 4 to 6 times a night,
Wow. That's a lot.
but we forget over 95% of them.
It really is a lot that we're not remembering.
It's like this whole hidden world in our minds that
Yeah.
we're creating, then just like
Erasing it.
erasing it. Yeah. Before we even wake up, it's so weird.
I know. It's what's the point of making all this stuff if we're not even going to remember it?
Right. And that makes the dreams that we do remember
Even more.
even more bizarre, even
Yeah.
more fascinating.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we should start with
Okay.
what we could call just the standard dream,
Okay.
your average nightly adventure,
Right.
usually visual,
Yeah.
often in color,
Mm-hmm.
and often totally bizarre.
Sometimes, yeah, it feels like, where did that come from?
Totally random.
Uh-huh.
But studies actually show
Oh,
that about 65% of the elements in our dreams are actually linked to our waking experiences.
Okay.
So it's not just
Well,
random.
not just our brains
Right.
making stuff up.
They're actively
Thinking.
weaving together these threads from
Yeah.
our daily lives,
Our daily lives.
even when we're asleep.
That's really interesting.
So that deadline you've got looming over you
Oh, yeah.
at work could show up as a giant spreadsheet
Uh-huh.
chasing you through a maze.
That sounds like a nightmare. Right.
That does not sound fun.
And studies have found that the more stressed we are, the more unpleasant our dreams tend to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it really is all about,
Relaxation.
yeah, keeping that stress down.
Keeping that stress down. Yeah.
Not just when we're awake, but also when we're asleep.
Exactly.
Wow.
So speaking of unpleasant,
Okay.
nightmares,
The worst.
that heart-pounding wake up in a cold sweat feeling.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Some nightmares.
Yeah.
These are the dreams that really linger,
They do.
and
They stick with you.
they stick with you.
Yeah.
But almost everyone has them occasionally,
Mm-hmm.
but there are things that make them more likely.
Oh, yeah. What kinds of things?
So watching something scary before bed,
Right.
sleep deprivation,
Mm-hmm.
even eating late at night.
Oh, really?
It seems that our digestive system
So interesting.
in our dream worlds
Like they shouldn't
might be more connected than we think.
be related at all. And then for people dealing with stress or mental health conditions like anxiety,
Yeah.
nightmares can become even more frequent and intense.
Oh, wow. That makes sense.
Studies have found that up to 71% of people with PTSD experience nightmares.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And they can become recurring if the underlying issues aren't addressed.
Wow. So this really highlights the connection between our mental and emotional state
Absolutely.
and the types of dreams
And that's the dreams we have.
that we have. Yeah.
So what about those recurring themes in nightmares?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any that seem particularly common?
Yeah. Research points to 3 major themes: death or dying,
Okay.
physical violence,
Uh-huh.
and being chased or hunted.
Yeah, those are pretty
Those are all scary.
scary.
Those are all things that I think,
primal.
yeah, even if we feel safe and secure in our waking lives, those are like
Right.
deep down fears.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So we've talked about nightmares,
Uh-huh.
which happen during REM sleep, but there's another sleep disturbance that can be equally terrifying.
What's that?
Night terrors.
Oh, yeah, night terrors. Those are different.
Are those in the same category?
No, not really. They're different beasts altogether.
Okay.
They typically occur during non-REM sleep,
Uh-huh.
and they're way more common in children.
Okay.
And unlike nightmares,
Yeah,
people often have little to no memory
I've heard that.
of what happened during a night terror.
Yeah.
So what makes them so terrifying then?
Yeah, if you don't even remember them.
Right.
Well, it's more about the physical manifestation.
Okay.
Like we're talking screaming violent movements.
Wow.
Some people even jump out of bed.
Oh my gosh.
Sweating, rapid heartbeat disorientation.
Uh-huh.
It can be very alarming for anyone witnessing it,
Yeah.
especially if they don't understand what's happening.
Right.
Yeah,
So those are definitely things to
to watch out for.
watch out for. Yeah, especially for parents of young children.
Exactly.
Might be
Experiencing this.
Yeah.
So we've covered the spooky stuff.
Okay.
What about those dreams
Yeah.
that feel positive, even healing?
Interesting.
Do we know anything about those?
Yeah, so there's not a ton of scientific data on healing dreams yet,
Okay.
but they're often described as having themes of balance, connection, purpose, reconciliation, even just pure joy and peace.
Wow.
Some researchers believe they might be a way for our subconscious to process difficult emotions or work through unresolved issues.
Like our minds are working on our behalf.
Yeah.
Even when we're sleeping.
Yeah, even when we're not aware of it.
And then there are those dreams that seem to predict the future.
Those are wild.
Prophetic dreams.
Yeah.
Are those just coincidences?
Right.
Or is there something more to them?
It's so hard to know, right?
Oh.
Like, those just really leave you wondering.
Yeah.
Historically, dreams have been seen as sources of wisdom or glimpses into the future.
Right.
Some cultures believe dreams carry messages from the spirit world. But from a scientific standpoint, it's more likely that these prophetic dreams are our subconscious mind picking up on subtle cues and patterns in our waking lives.
Okay.
And then the dream is a way of processing those observations.
So maybe our brains are better at predicting outcomes than we give them credit for.
Then we realize,
Interesting.
like, we dismiss them as just dreams.
Right.
But maybe there's something more to it.
Okay, so before we go too far down the rabbit hole of dream interpretation,
Okay.
let's talk about those super intense, almost hyper-real dreams.
Okay. Yeah.
What causes those?
We're talking vivid dreams, right?
Yeah.
Those are often associated with waking up during REM sleep. That's when our dreams are most vivid and easily remembered. And interestingly, pregnancy and stress are known to contribute to vivid dreaming.
Wow.
So it seems our hormones play a significant role
Really?
in shaping our dream experiences.
Wow. So those really intense dreams that we wake up from
Yeah.
probably were jolted out of REM sleep right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of those memorable dream moments,
Yeah.
let's talk about those classic dream themes
Okay.
that seem to pop up for almost everyone.
Yeah.
Falling,
Yeah.
being chased,
Uh-huh.
teeth falling out,
Mm-hmm.
public nudity.
Oh. Classic.
Why do these themes seem so universal?
Right. Those are the classics. You see them in every dream interpretation book. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The meaning of those sarnals can vary wildly,
Oh.
depending on the individual and their life context.
Okay.
What a falling dream signifies for you might be totally different for someone else.
Okay.
It's all about context.
So there's no one-size-fits-all answer
No,
when it comes to dream interpretation.
not really.
So instead of looking for a definitive answer in a dream dictionary,
Right.
it's more about exploring what those symbols mean to me
Ah.
within the context of my own life.
Yeah, it's like a personal puzzle.
Yeah.
And you hold all the pieces. So think about the emotions you felt during the dream and what was happening in your life around the time you had it.
Okay.
Those reflections can often lead to more meaningful insights than any predetermined interpretation you'll find in a book.
Then just looking it up in a dream dictionary.
Exactly.
And what about those dreams that are just completely bizarre?
Right.
Where you wake up thinking, where on earth did that come from?
Sometimes a bizarre dream is just a bizarre dream.
Okay.
Our brains are capable of creating some pretty wild scenarios, especially during REM sleep.
Right.
And remember, even people who were born blind dream.
That's right.
Their dreams utilize other senses,
Uh-huh.
like sound, touch, and smell,
That's incredible.
Right.
How our brains can,
even without visual input.
even without visual input,
It can still create these crazy worlds.
that really speaks to the power
Yeah.
and creativity
The creativity of the human mind.
of the human mind.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
There's so many other fascinating nuances to the world of dreams, like lucid dreaming, recurring dreams, and how different life stages can influence our dream experiences.
Okay.
But we'll dive into those fascinating areas in part 2 of our deep dive.
All right, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the deep dive.
So last time we were talking about
Lucid dreaming.
lucid dreaming
Recurring dreams.
and how different life stages can affect our dreams.
Exactly.
So lucid dreaming,
Yeah.
it's that wild phenomenon
Uh-huh.
where you become aware that you're dreaming while it's happening.
That would be so cool.
Like you suddenly become the director of your own
Yeah.
mental movie.
Wow. And research suggests this might be linked to increased activity in the prefrontal cortex,
Okay.
which is the part of the brain responsible for self-awareness.
So is that why some people seem to lucid dream more easily than others?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We don't really know for sure what triggers lucid dreaming,
Okay.
but some researchers think that certain personality traits
It's like being more imaginative
Okay.
or open to new experiences might play a role.
Okay.
There are also techniques and practices people can use to try to induce lucid dreams,
Oh, like what?
like reality testing throughout the day or keeping a dream journal.
That's interesting. So we might be able to train our minds to
Potentially.
become more aware
Yeah,
in our dreams.
that would be amazing.
Yeah, what about those recurring dreams?
Yeah, the ones that keep popping up.
The ones that keep popping up sometimes for years.
Sometimes for years, yeah.
Are those our brains trying to tell us something?
Recurring dreams can be really interesting. They can range from neutral to full-blown nightmares.
Yeah.
Sometimes the same dream scenario just repeats itself with slight variations.
Oh, wow.
And if it's the nightmare variety, it might be worth exploring potential underlying causes,
Oh, like what?
like unresolved emotional conflicts,
Okay.
stress, or even certain medications.
So if the same dream keeps coming back, it might be a sign that something needs to be addressed. Right, it's like our subconscious is tapping us on the shoulder saying, hey, pay attention to this.
Yeah.
There's something here that needs to be resolved.
But recurring dreams don't always have to be negative.
Right, they can be positive too.
Okay.
Sometimes they can be quite pleasant or even inspiring.
It's like our minds are working through things even when we're not consciously aware of it.
It is our subconscious mind, right?
Right. And some of those recurring themes can be pretty unsettling,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
like the classic falling dream,
Yeah.
or the one where you're being chased but can't seem to run fast enough.
Oh, yeah. Or you're trying to scream, but no sound comes out.
Yeah.
Those are definitely among the most common recurring dream themes.
Okay.
There's also the feeling of being frozen with fear,
Uh-huh.
being unable to speak or scream,
Right.
or showing up to an important event unprepared or naked.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Those are the classics.
Those are the worst.
They often tap into feelings of vulnerability, anxiety, or a sense of lack of control.
Makes sense. What about those false awakenings?
Oh, those are so weird.
That moment when you wake up in your dream,
Uh-huh.
only to realize you're still dreaming.
Yeah, and you think you're awake, but
Yeah.
you're not.
So disorienting.
False awakenings are like a dream within a dream.
Wow.
They can feel incredibly real,
Mhm.
and they're often linked to lucid dreams and sleep paralysis,
Oh,
which can add another layer of strangeness to the whole experience.
it's like your brain is playing tricks on you.
Totally.
We've talked about how stress and mental health can affect our dreams.
Right?
Are there any other life stages or situations that might influence
Yeah,
what we dream about?
absolutely. Childhood is a prime example.
Okay.
Kids tend to have more nightmares and night terrors than adults,
Oh, really?
possibly because they spend more time in non-REM sleep,
Okay.
the stage where those disturbances are most likely to occur.
Right.
Their developing brains are also processing a lot of new information and experiences,
Makes sense.
which can show up in their dreams.
So those monster under the bed nightmares
Right.
could just be their active imagination.
Exactly, as they try to make sense of the world around them.
Right.
And then there's pregnancy.
Okay. Another big life change.
Another time when dreams can get pretty wild.
Uh-huh.
Pregnant people often report having more vivid and frequent dreams,
Really?
and even an increase in nightmares.
Wow. I imagine those hormonal shifts
Definitely.
are playing a big role.
They definitely are. Hormonal fluctuations during pregnancy can affect sleep patterns, mood, and even brain chemistry,
Wow.
all of which can contribute to more intense and memorable dreams.
Plus, pregnant people tend to have better dream recall.
Right, because they're waking up more often during the night.
Right, so those pregnancy dreams might
Yeah.
be more vivid, more frequent, and we're more likely to remember them.
Exactly, a triple whammy.
Are there any other life experiences
Mm.
that might have a significant impact
Yeah.
on our dreams?
One that researchers have been studying more recently is the grieving process.
Okay.
Studies suggest that dreams during periods of mourning can be more vivid and feel more meaningful, possibly because our subconscious is working through the complex emotions of loss and grief.
So it's like our minds are trying to process those difficult emotions
Exactly.
and make sense of the changes that have happened in our lives.
Even when we're asleep, our minds are still working,
Even when we're asleep.
trying to find balance and meaning.
So it seems like our dreams really are connected to our waking life.
In so many ways.
Yeah, and in a way that we don't often think about.
Right.
So we talked about how stress and mental health and pregnancy, even grief, can actually shape our dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And how maybe those dreams are a way for our minds to process those experiences.
Exactly. It's like having this whole other world going on inside our heads.
Yeah.
that's influenced by everything we're experiencing out here in reality.
And one of the things about that other world that's so interesting is dream interpretation.
Those common symbols and themes that we see across cultures and time periods.
Like falling
Yep.
or trying to run, but your legs feel like lead.
Classic.
Do those symbols have like specific meanings?
Right.
Can we actually decode them to understand ourselves better?
Well, there are tons of dream dictionaries and interpretations out there, but
Yeah.
truthfully, the meaning of those symbols is highly personal.
Okay.
So what flying represents for you might be totally different for me.
Got it.
It's all about context.
So instead of looking for an answer in a dream dictionary,
Yeah,
it's more about like, what do those symbols mean to me?
exactly.
Yeah.
In the context of my own life.
So like, how do I figure that out?
Well, it's all about asking yourself, what was the feeling I had during the dream
So-
and what was happening in my life around the time I had it?
Okay.
So, for example, if you dream about being chased, think about what or who might be making you feel pressured or threatened in your waking life.
Okay.
It could be a work deadline, a relationship issue, or even just a general sense of anxiety.
So it's less about finding a concrete answer
Right.
and more about using those dream images as a starting point.
Exactly.
Okay.
Dreams can offer amazing insights into our subconscious thoughts, fears, and desires, but we have to be willing to do the work of interpreting them ourselves.
So there's no magic solution.
Unfortunately not.
And then what about those dreams that are just totally bizarre?
Oh, yeah.
Where you wake up and you're like, how did I even...
Yeah, where'd that come from? Dream that.
Sometimes a bizarre dream is just a bizarre dream.
Okay.
Our brains are so creative, especially during REM sleep,
Yeah,
and they can weave together some really strange and illogical scenarios.
that's true.
And remember, even people who are born blind have dreams,
Oh, that's right.
but their dreams rely on their other senses,
Mm-hmm.
like sound, touch, and smell.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How our brains can create these complex dream worlds even without visual input. It speaks to the boundless creativity of the human mind.
It really does.
And it leaves us with so many unanswered questions about the purpose of dreams.
Yeah, like what are they really for?
Right. Are they just our brain's way of processing emotions and experiences, or is there something more profound going on?
Something we don't even understand.
Yeah, a mystery that we haven't quite solved.
It's fascinating to think about. And we could probably talk about it forever.
I know, right?
But I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From standard dreams to nightmares.
Lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, recurring dreams.
And everything in between.
We've talked about potential causes, common themes,
Mm-hmm.
and how our life experiences and biology can even shape the dreams that we have.
Absolutely.
And we even went down the rabbit hole of dream interpretation
Yeah, that's fun.
and decided that maybe the real meaning of dreams is up to each individual to figure out.
Yeah, it's a personal journey.
It's a personal journey
We've all got this amazing world of sleep and dreams,
that we visit every night.
whether we remember it or not.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of dreams.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you learned something new
And maybe had some of your own questions sparked.
and that you have sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.